First of this series of videos that I'm going to post will be short interviews interspersed with clips from everyday average people who recently spoke at a council meeting, at the St Tammany Parish Council meeting on June 5th. These are not politicians, these are not spokespeople, these are not people, frankly, that probably even want to be in front of a microphone, but were moved enough by something in this discussion to feel like their voices needed to be heard and their opinions needed to be considered by the council as well as by the public. One of the reasons I'm doing this is because I think that we're all susceptible to having the media and other people start telling us what each other is thinking. And I thought it might be good to hear firsthand from each other what we're each thinking as we kind of enter into this discussion and decide whether or not this is going to be a good thing for the parish, a bad thing for the parish, or what we might be able to potentially do to influence it in either direction. This very first that I'm going to present here is a woman by the name of Deborah Burst. And Deborah is extremely well-spoken and very passionate, and I think you'll enjoy just getting kind of a glimpse into one of your neighbors, and somebody you may know, but maybe you'll know a little bit better after you see some of what we saw at the council meeting on June 5th. I hope you enjoy it. Thanks.
My name's Deborah Burst, and resident here for 30 years. Built my own road, built my own house, and I've been walking here on the trace now for 20 years. So I have a lot invested in this community, and I am just terribly frightened of what fracking can do to us. Matter of fact, the drill is probably going to go right underneath me.
Can you think of back to that first few days when you're doing all that reading and all that research? Can you think of anything in particular that kind of went into your gut in terms of this is something to pay attention to? Is there something that struck you personally?
I cried. I can't tell you how many times I cried. But as a journalist, I'm a freelance writer and photographer, and as a journalist, what really impacted me was seeing the people, actually videos like this, seeing people stand there either with their well water on fire or their children sick, going, through chemo, just the real faces of people in Pennsylvania, people in Texas, Wyoming, Montana. The list goes on and on. Even our own state. I'm an animal lover, and when I saw the cows, 24 of them dropping dead right there in Cato Parish because they were grazing on grass that was infected by nearby fracking well. I cried at that because I started thinking, my God, it's the whole chain of food chain, because we're drinking the milk, we're eating the vegetables, the farms are affected. If it's in our water, then it goes everywhere. And that's another thing. I mean, back in the 70s, I used to come here to a beta to get my water. I wouldn't drink any water from the South Shore. How ironic now that I've been living here for so long, and I might have to go on the South Shore for my water. That's scary stuff.
One nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
This is a message I just received from a friend who lives in Flower Mound, Texas. Her family lives here on the North Shore. These first sentences remind me of here. I moved to my dream home 11 years ago. It was great schools, playgrounds. I thought it was the perfect place to raise my son. It was, until fracking began. I don't pretend to understand all of it, but the water they used during the operation got into our water table, and the water from my tap was poisoned. It wasn't just me. There was a large pocket of children and adults who all got leukemia at the same time. The state came in and declared that it wasn't from the poisonous materials in our water. Then the University of Texas sent in scientists and told us that the state study wasn't correct, that they didn't look at the proper material. All I know is
There are several beautiful children who died, who are sick. My doctors gave me 6 months to live. My son was 8. I have fought so hard that I could raise my child, but my side effects of watching his mother go through this, not knowing he would wake up to find his mother dead, these things terrified him. What oil companies do is promise you all the perks. Don't believe them, because what they will really bring is disease. They will poison you and your kids, and they will leave. The oil companies take no responsibility for what they leave behind because they got what they want. Thank you.
You suddenly found yourself in front of 100 of your neighbors and had 30 seconds to tell them something. What would you want to say?
I would ask them what would they do without their water. That would be the big thing. What would you do without your water? And what would you do if your child started getting sick and there was nothing you could do about it? And that nobody would listen and you had no one to go to? What would you do?
And you know what? I cry. I cry when I'm outside thinking about what's going to happen when that drill passes underneath my house. And you know what? I decided I'm going to stop crying and I'm going to get mad. I'm going to get really mad and I'm going to fight this with every ounce I have.